Welcome into the Stand Like Men podcast. I'm Daniel Schallenberg.
And I'm Logan Ingram.
And we're here to talk about godly masculinity and to ask y'all to join us along the way.
If you're enjoying the show or want to write us in with some comments or questions or even just some encouragement, please feel free to email us at standlikemen.com or just give us a comment on any of the platforms, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Did you say standlikemen.com?
Did I?
I think you did.
Yeah. Isn't that it?
At gmail.com.
Oh, my bad.
We don't have a website yet.
My bad.
If someone wants to make a website for us.
I don't know. Did I?
Our listeners
Please email us at standlikemen
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing. This is episode 36.
It is 36.
Goodness gracious me. So what are we talking about today, Logan?
We're talking about seasons of silence from God.
Okay.
How does that make you feel, Daniel?
Not great.
Yeah, I know.
We should probably. So, what does a season of silence kind of look like?
All right. So,
how would you describe that?
So, say you feel that you are showing up spiritually, physically, whatever it is. You're showing up as a dad, as a husband. Your prayer life's on point. You're doing all the things. You're saying yes to all the stuff at church. And maybe there's somewhere you're trying to get, whether it's your career or spiritually or health-wise or something you're working towards. Mm-hmm. You just can't get there. And you pray about it. You pray about it. You're trying to break a habit. You're trying to accomplish something. You pray about it. Talk to God about it. Meditate. Talk to your family about it. Mm-hmm. You cannot get there.
Yeah.
It feels like God is not answering your prayer.
Yeah.
What do we do in those seasons?
Well, I can speak from personal experience that in the past I have not handled that well.
Nope.
My worst, I don't know if this is the time to tell the story or not, but the worst crisis of faith I've ever had. It was actually 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I was just angry. I was angry at God, and I'm like, God, what the crap is going on? And I felt comfortable being this honest, even though I read the story of Job and God's like, put Job in his place. And that kind of frightened me a little bit. But I also read the Psalms. I'm like, okay, God wants me to be real with him and emotionally honest because he knows how I feel anyway. So I might as well be honest, like speak what I'm thinking. And I was tearing into him and letting him have it every moment of every day. I'm like, God, I'm mad. And here's why I'm mad, because I have done this and this and this and this. And I feel like this is supposed to be the response. And, whenever you're praying and you're being honest with God and truthful, and you hear that little voice that like contradicts what you just said. Oh. And like, I get that periodically. I'm like, this should be the way it is. It's like, but what about this? It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Every once in a while I'll be praying and I'll be honest and like, why is that person being such a jerk right now? It's like, and then like I hear this voice of like, well, you don't know what that person's going through. It's like, okay, that's a good point. And so I attribute that voice to the Holy Spirit, where I feel like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And and the Holy Spirit says, hey man, you don't know what they're going through. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. And so in those moments, in this crisis that I was having, I was very frustrated, and I would like just pour my heart out to him. It's like, this is not right. And every time I would say something like, I don't know, I call it like the churchy answer, where it's just like, it's the answer that you always get in church service. And like, it's the answer that's always worked for me. And I remember in that time, in that season, I guess you'd call it, is whenever the Holy Spirit would like give one of those answers to my state, to like whatever accusation or whatever I made towards God, I'm like, the church answers are not good enough right now.
Oh.
And like, I know that Jesus says that he's not like, he doesn't even have a place to lay his head down. I know that he says that like being a Christian is not going to be comfortable. I know all these things, but the church answers that I've had my entire life are not good enough anymore. And so I struggled with that a lot. And during that crisis, I was really, the church answers weren't doing it for me. And I didn't handle it very well. And what was your question? I'm just going to go ahead and finish my story, and then we'll see if I can tie it back in.
When you feel like you're showing up, what?
Yeah.
do you
Okay, so
feel
I
when God
felt like I
doesn't
was
answer?
showing up. I felt like I was showing up the whole way. And it didn't feel like God was returning the favor, isn't the right word, but like wasn't doing his part. And so it was really hard, and I really struggled with that and it was a long time. And I talked to Kara about it. I'm like, Kara, I'm struggling. And like normally she's great at giving me advice and great at like providing the perspective that I need from a person that I deeply trust. And I don't know if she had any, I don't remember her, like what she said, but like, I think at that point I was just so like, I just wanted to wallow, I guess is the best way. So I don't remember if she said anything, if she could say anything, or she recognized that where I was at the moment was I was just going to be wallowing, and nothing she could say was going to bring me out. Yeah, I'll tell the rest of that story later on. How do you feel when?
I felt like that a lot in my life. And sometimes, especially now that I feel like I've made all of these great changes, and I struggle with it in that I'll kind of see all these Instagram-y stuff, these memes that are like, God promised, his promise is coming. And I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I get real cynical sometimes. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Not for me. And I've thought, and I told a group of guys this not that long ago, that, dude, I've got really strong faith.
Yeah.
I believe, Daniel, if you ask him for anything, he's going to give it to you. Mm-hmm. I believe if you believe and ask him for it and work hard and just, you put all you got into it, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I believe it'll happen for you, for your family. I believe it'll happen for everybody in my office, all of my friends and family. I don't know that it'll do it for me. Mm. Like, I believe it. I know he can. I know he will for y'all. And I know he can for me. I don't know if he will.
He won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've struggled with that quite a bit. And I don't like that feeling because I feel wrong for feeling that way.
Yeah.
And I think I am wrong for feeling that way because I do the same thing as I try and speak some truth into, like, okay, well, God definitely didn't say everything was going to be great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he cursed humans in the garden and said, you're going to have a hard time. And
you done messed up.
You done messed up, Adam.
Adam. Adam.
And so I struggle with that because I'm like, man, I'm doing all the right things.
Yeah.
And I know that that's probably where he's working on me.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a crap about the other stuff. Maybe I should quit saying give a crap and stuff on this podcast.
I've said it. It's fine.
But he doesn't care whether I reach my business milestone. Mm-hmm. He cares whether I believe him.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to trust him.
Yeah.
That's what he cares about. And so I've been working hard, trying really hard on that. And then I'll catch myself, I've got 2 weeks like that. Okay, I'm not worrying about anything. Yeah. Like something will pop up and be like, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm chill. I'm straight. And then end of the week, I'm like, all right, God, I did everything. All right, let's have it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Where's my blessing?
Yeah, where's my blessing?
Yeah.
And it doesn't come.
Yeah.
So, and what's amazing too is this is that inward focus thing we've been talking about on some other episodes, is I get so focused on this thing. God, please do this thing. Uh-huh. And then I wake up one day without the answer to that thing. And I look around and go, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff he's been doing over here. And I'm not even grateful.
Yeah.
It's like he's opened 1 million doors for me in this area, but he just hasn't answered the one thing
Yeah.
that I've been fervently asking for. And some of that other stuff I have been fervently asking for, but it's almost like I expect those things to happen because they're not as difficult, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It's like, you know, those car commercials, like around Christmas time, they always have like the Lexus commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Around Christmas time, and it's always the husband or the wife comes home with a brand new car, and they run outside and there's a bow on the car in the driveway. And first of all, I would love to be in a position financially to just come home with a car and have a bow on it for my wife, and
Never been in that position,
and her not be absolutely livid with me.
I know.
That would be amazing.
No, I can't even imagine that.
I feel like when I feel comfortable throwing away the bar of soap when the lettering is rubbed off, then I'll be in that financial position that I can just buy a car without her knowing and surprise her with it. But yeah, she would be absolutely livid. So I don't know if that's relevant. It's not relevant to what I was going to talk about. But anyway, those car commercials coming up, and the wife like seeing the car and say, "This is a beautiful car. I love it so much. I don't like the color. Send it back." Mm-hmm. And it's like,
I've seen some of those videos, like maybe some Hollywood teen.
Yeah.
They got the wrong color BMW or Ferrari or something and throw a fit.
I do not care that this is a better car or that this is a better whatever. I wanted red.
Yeah.
And so when you were talking about like seeing God work in all these areas, it's like, yeah, but it's not the area I wanted him to work in. And I fall into that trap a lot. Is like, I want him to give me the blessings that I want, not the blessings that are good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And it's easy to put your blinders on.
We're so good at it. Get
tunnel vision on one thing and miss all of the other stuff. Because I was talking to my group of guys I meet with every Monday the other night, and I'm like, man, I sit here and some mornings I wake up just exasperated. I'm like, God, please help me with this. Mm-hmm. And then if I can take a minute, I look around and go, holy smokes, like I'm living my dream from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what day in the past it was. If you'd have told me and shown me what today looks like for me, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I'd be over the moon with excitement. And so I'm living my dream, but I'm not focused on it. I'm focused on all the stuff that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good testing season. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just a flat out no. Yeah. And he's just not answering you.
Yeah.
Because it's a no. And then sometimes he's just saying not right now. Because I've had that quite a few times.
Yeah.
Where it was just not right now. And it wasn't even necessarily a lesson for me. And that's one thing I've come to the realization of more recently, is because I'm so self-focused and self-centered as a human being.
Yeah.
I don't realize that maybe he's not answering me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Maybe it has to do with this person over here that has nothing to do with it right now.
Yeah.
It's because if he gave me that, they can't do something.
Yeah.
Or they can't get something, or they're going to get something that would not be good for them.
Yeah.
Like,
or that I would ignore that person because I had this thing.
Exactly. And I think that's been actually an answer that I have figured out for some of my prayers lately, is that I realize now how bad it would have been for me back then.
Yeah.
Because some of it's like, oh man, I know that the reason he's not answering me now is because it's going to be better than I thought it could be, and stuff like that. And it's maybe not necessarily like the end value of the thing is higher than it would have been if it had happened at this point in time. But rather it's about me and the people that I would have affected by that.
Yeah.
Like if you'd have given me this thing, I already know that I wouldn't be who I am right now. And I couldn't be as effective as I am right now. And I would be in something totally different.
And we're kind of dancing around it. But I mean, we've talked about this the past several weeks, is like, it's the eternal focus.
Yes.
And it's like, God has an eternal focus. And the reason he's saying no right now is because eternally, that's not what we need.
Right.
And so like, even if it's, I mean, I've prayed a lot about finances, and like, you know, every marriage is going to go through financial trouble, and I'm struggling. Like, I've got too much month at the end of my money, you know? And so I'm like, God, I don't know how to get through this. And I'm like, I see this avenue of money and being blessed. Like, please bless us with that. And he's like, no. And like, I struggled with that early on, because I'm like, and like, I remember talking to our preacher one time. I'm like, you know, I see one verse says, you know, ask God and he'll give it to you. But then I see another one that says, you're not asking with the right motive. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, on one position, he says you need to ask for everything. And then on the other position, he's like, you shouldn't be asking. It's like, I'm just asking for a job that will help my family like live and eat. And yet he's saying no. And looking back, you know, 10 plus years later, I'm like, oh, I can see a future or a path where if we had been blessed in that manner, like, and this is like, you know, 10, 15 plus years later.
Oh, I know. I hate that.
I'm looking back. I'm like, I can now see where I'm at now. And if he had given us that job, I can see a world where we would not be where we're at.
Yeah.
And we would be in a, like, spiritually speaking, a much worse place. And I wouldn't have healed from any generational inheritance that I have. And my wife wouldn't have, and like, we would have been setting up our son for trouble. Like, I can see a path. If all of my prayers had been answered, like, I can see that. Right now, all I'm thinking of is the movie Bruce Almighty.
Oh yeah.
When Jim Carrey
he
gets the
answers
powers.
affirmative to everyone's prayer.
Yeah. He's like, I can't go through these millions of prayers. I'm just going to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And then of course there's pure chaos in like an hour and like almost anarchy. He's like, what? And so, yeah, sometimes saying yes, even though we want it, I mean, we're impetulant children. Like, you're not going to give a toddler everything that they ask for, because then you're going to give them the knife that they shove in the electrical socket that kills them.
Yeah. That kind of goes back to what I was saying about on the last episode, is what's, you know, bad things happen to good people. Well, what's bad?
Yeah.
And what's a good person?
Yeah.
And it's that childlike mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my 3-year-old's worst day of his life didn't get to pick up all the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
It's pretty trivial.
I love those memes where it's like a picture of a kid just completely falling apart.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the caption is like, what happened to the child?
Yeah.
It's like, I had one for Emmett.
Didn't let him eat a frozen chicken nugget or something.
No, he asked to, like, we were making scrambled eggs, and he was like maybe 18 to 24 months, something like that. And so I was making the scrambled egg. He was watching, and he wanted to pour the egg into, like, we scramble the egg in a bowl and we pour it in. And he wanted to pour the egg into the skillet. I said, okay, yeah, you can do that. And so I got him a chair, and he poured the egg into the skillet and immediately melted down. It's like, I gave you exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
Exactly what you wanted. And it still wasn't good enough. And I don't know what it was, but like, and like, how accurate is that with us and God? Like, on the one hand, no, I'm not going to let you lick the Walmart floor. I've seen some of those. Like, my kid is screaming because I won't let them lick the floor. Yeah. And so, yeah, you're saying, no, I'm not going to let you die from whatever hepatitis is on Walmart floor. And then, or yes, you can have this gift of pouring an egg into a skillet, and neither situation are you happy. And that happens so frequently with me when I'm talking with God. It's like, I want this. And God says, no, that's going to be bad for you. And I pitch a fit. Or, God, I want this. And he says, okay, I'll give you that. And I'm pitch a fit because it wasn't more, or it wasn't better, or it wasn't what I expected it to be. But yeah, when God answers prayers, he's looking from an eternal focus. He's not looking from a temporary focus, from a worldly focus. And unfortunately, that's where we're stuck. Yeah. Like, we're stuck in a worldly perspective.
Yes, we are.
And so that's why we keep talking about, like, we have to shift our focus and our paradigm away from the temporary world and onto what we are supposed to be, which is eternal.
Yeah. Oh, how do we, this kind of goes to a little bit of the value and stuff that we talked about, value and worth.
Definitely.
Is it's not necessarily that we're doing, just why didn't you do this? But the feeling of, man, I must be disappointing God.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a disappointment.
Yeah.
And he's not doing it because I'm not valuable.
If God loved you, he would have done this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a big lie that's going around
I agree.
the world right now. And a bad, that's one of the battlefronts for Christianity right now.
Yeah.
Is if he loved you, he would have done that thing for you.
Yeah.
Or, if he loved you, bad things wouldn't happen to good people.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I think that kind of goes back to the inward focus and the truth piece is, I think we've got to look at God like a father, like he says he is.
Yeah.
We've got to look at ourselves like kids, and it's easier, of course, for an actual parent to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's really important because if I look at my kids, that's not how I treat them,
Yeah.
and I know that, and if I do treat them that way, from lashing out, from stress or whatever, I immediately know that it's the wrong way to do it. And so that's the truth that I have to speak to myself is if he is exactly who he says he is and is a good father, then first of all, either he's not disappointed in me, or if he is, I can come back from that.
Yeah.
I can, grace is sufficient, and I know my worth because Christ died for us. If I'm worth that, then we can get over it.
Yeah. I think another reason why God is quiet sometimes is because he does expect us to participate.
Yes.
I've said it before, like God created us to rule with him, to reign as heirs with him. And you see that in his command in Genesis of, increase and multiply and have dominion over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. Like he expects us to rule with him. I was always confused about one of Jesus' parables growing up, like the parable of the talents. And everybody tried to explain that to me, and it never made sense to me. But I really think that the parable of the talents is Jesus saying, listen, you're expected to be part of this. Like you're supposed to be partnering with God in this. And so just to refresh people's memories, like the master gives talents as what the Bible says to his 3 servants. He gives 5 talents to one servant, 2 or 3 talents to the second one, and then 1 talent to the last one. And then he goes away on a trip. Well, the first 2 servants go and they invest and they do things with that money, with those talents, and then they increase the talents. So the first one, they basically double all of their talents. And the third servant says, basically, forget you, and he buries the talent in the ground. And when the master comes back, the first 2 servants say, hey, here's the money that you got, and then here's the investment that I made, and I got a lot of talent returned. And the master's like, this is awesome, way to go. And he talks to the third one, and he's like, hey, I know what you're about. I know who you are and what your business is. And so, and you reap where you don't sow, and you do this and this and this. And so I buried your talent. So here's your talent that you gave me. And his response is like, you wicked servant. And it finally occurred to me, like the master's saying, listen, and what he's saying is like, what my business is. You know what I'm about, and yet you didn't partner with me. These other 2 servants know what I'm about. They know what my business is, and they partnered with me, and look at what they did. And that's what, Jesus told that parable for a reason. And I believe that reason is to say, listen, it doesn't matter what you've been given or how much you feel like you've been given. You should know that. You should know what my Father's business is. You should know what God's business is, and you should be partnering with him. That's the whole reason you were created, is to partner with him and to have this eternal mindset and to like be about his business and be about his will. And if you're doing that, then like whatever you've been given is going to increase.
Yeah.
And we may not see that.
Delayed gratification is a big part of Christianity.
I don't like that.
I don't either. But it goes back to what we've been talking about is we're planting seeds.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have 100,000 followers on this podcast.
Yet.
I would love to, not yet.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is we're 31 weeks in. Though.
Oh yeah.
30. That's a long time.
Yeah. 36 minus
31 weeks.
34.
34 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. 34 weeks into this thing and it's not happened yet.
Yeah.
And we're not waiting for that to happen.
Why hasn't God blessed us yet, Logan?
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're doing the thing. But
I think it's because the listeners aren't liking and subscribing.
Giving us a rating. You got to fool the algorithm.
Yeah.
You got to play the algorithm. But, you know, we're planting seeds. Like that wasn't our hope. It wasn't.
No.
That had nothing to do with our mission.
No.
And like, I didn't even hardly think about that.
No, I don't look at numbers.
Yeah. And so we're planting seeds because that's a big part of this whole growth process in Christianity, I believe, is because look at what Jesus did.
Mm-hmm.
He came, right? He converted a couple thousand people. That's the Son of God converted a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
And then died. Mm-hmm. And then raised again. And then he went to heaven. Mm-hmm. He planted the seeds in 5,000 people or however many it was. I don't know. I don't know the exact math because no one knows because it's men, women, children, or is it just men? We don't know. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, he didn't come down and convert the whole world at one time.
That wasn't his goal.
No. And so he planted seeds that have lasted over 2,000 years.
Yeah. And how many millions of people or billions of people have been
saved
from the seeds that he planted?
Right. Exactly. And so that is an eternal view.
I had never considered that.
Yeah. I hadn't really either. He came right now.
He came to heal the sick. He came to do all that. But his goal wasn't to convert everybody.
No.
Because, and you can I don't know if we talked about this or not, but God is okay. God and Jesus are very okay with people not understanding them. I don't know how many parables he would tell, and then people come up and say, "Hey, can you explain that?" And either he would not explain it, or he would tell them another parable.
Right.
And it's and then that they're left confused with that as well.
Yeah, because you think Jesus couldn't be the most powerful speaker the world has ever known and convert everyone in one speech?
Yeah.
Or just snap his fingers and do it.
But his goal was not to convert everybody. His goal was to save us and to die for us and to pay our debt.
Thank you for joining us on the Stand Like Men podcast this afternoon, morning, or evening, or night, or whatever you're doing. We really appreciate it. If you're liking it and you're up that early or late or whatever and still listening, we would love for you to give us a rating. It really helps boost the podcast and get it expands our reach so that we can connect with other men or women looking for content just like this. We also have an email address, standlikemen@gmail.com. Please email us your questions, suggestions, comments, encouragement, whatever it is. We're on all of the general platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram. We got a lot of them, so you can find us in quite a few places. Our verse is 1 Corinthians 16, 13, and 14.
Be watchful.
Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong.
Let all that you do be done in love.